right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
The fight for who picks the county's next prosecutor continues as the governor announces his appointee.
I was surprised when I heard that the governor was getting involved.
Court will make the right decision.
The picks from both the county and the state talk about their goals for the office.
The battle between cold and mild air has formed a boundary south of St. Louis tonight. Why it's making a big difference in your Friday forecast and what happens when that boundary lifts overhead.
Our top story, a credit card freeze in SLPS after mismanagement of more than $1 million in the district. Within just the last hour, school leaders confirmed they're making changes when it comes to spending at the central office. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. The credit card freeze is one of several changes we're learning about as the St. Louis Public School District works to regain trust. 5 on Your Side's Brent Solomon is in the newsroom with what he's just learned. Brent.
Well, Mike, let me break down what that freeze means. The superintendent had a credit card, and we've learned several of her staffers did too. They used them for flights and flight upgrades, hotels, restaurants, and lifts and Uber rides. I also found transactions for flowers, DoorDash, and multiple trips to Bath and Body Works. While some of the expenses may be valid, there are questions about others. As a result, St. Louis Public Schools is putting a halt to the use of those credit cards for now. I'm told it was Interim Superintendent Millicent Borshade who put a stop to it and ordered those cards collected, per the recommendation of a recent audit into the district's spending. We've learned more than $1.5 million were charged to district-issued credit cards under the former superintendent, Keisha Scarlett's 1 year at the helm. The school board is tasked with hiring and firing the superintendent. Earlier this year, the board's vice president said they understand they're challenged with making immediate changes and taking accountability.
It's going to take an incredible amount of work, but I do hope and believe that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Certainly from my own perspective, and I think I share this perspective with the whole board, we welcome that scrutiny, we welcome that challenge, and we hope that we will meet that challenge and not disappoint the community that elected us.
The audit also recommended the district put monthly cycle limits on spending, identify what type of purchases are actually acceptable, and make sure staffers are trained on those policies. Auditors also suggest whoever is using those cards keep their receipts for documentation. Tonight, I've reached out to a spokesperson for the former superintendent. I'll let you know if we hear back. I'm told a national search will get underway to find someone qualified to replace her. The school board is set to meet again on January 14th.
Tonight, a high-stakes battle over who gets to name St. Louis County's next prosecutor. Governor Parson has made his choice to replace Wesley Bell, who's headed to Congress next month.
But County Executive Sam Page insists that's his call to make. 5 on Your Side's Laura Barczewski talks with the attorneys vying for the job.
Mike and Kelly, Wesley Bell was supposed to serve as St. Louis County prosecutor until 2027, and whoever is appointed would serve the remaining 2 years before facing a vote of the people.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page and Missouri Governor Mike Parson are in a legal battle over who has the authority to appoint the next county prosecutor. Both claim they have the right to and have named different attorneys for the job. Page selected Court Van Ostren, who left his current job as a federal prosecutor, to accept the appointment.
I'm going to spend a lot of time listening from the outset. I think Wesley Bell really had some great contributions to the office that I want to preserve. You know, a focus on diversion programs for low-level, nonviolent offenders, the conviction integrity review process. I think those things are really important.
Governor Parson chose Assistant St. Louis County Prosecutor Melissa Price Smith, who has worked in the office for 16 years. In a statement, he said, quote, "Melissa is committed to the rule of law, and we are confident that she will deliver as demonstrated by her distinguished career putting criminals behind bars." If the courts decide Price Smith has the job, she says she's ready to go on day one and has worked in nearly every area of the office.
First thing I will do is an internal audit on the finances. I will sit down with law enforcement on day one and assure them that our partnership to keep St. Louis County safe will be stronger than ever, and we will work together to make that happen.
Both say they want to focus on violent crime to make St. Louis County safer for everyone.
I will make sure that our violent crime unit is staffed and ready to go. Again, it has not been in place.
My highest priority as prosecuting attorney will be to aggressively prosecute violent crime, vehicle crime, property crime.
Both the Attorney General's office and representation for the county are scheduled to be in court next week. Bell is going to be sworn into Congress January 3rd.
Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell's here with the weather impact forecast. It looks like things will warm up a bit this weekend, but rain, Scott, will be an issue as we head into the weekend.
Rain and some gusty winds around here on Saturday. That's really our big weather impact as we head into the weekend. And what does that entail? Well, the rain really develops Saturday, likely just before daybreak around St. Louis. The gusty winds will then follow during the afternoon, and it's a pretty steady rain, we think, into the afternoon hours. The good news is temperatures will slowly climb to around 50. That's good news because it's still cold out there right now. 19 in Alton, 22 in Wildwood, 24 in Arnold, Mascouta's 25 degrees. We have this boundary that's essentially stalled out down to our south. Our southern counties today, down in Farmington, down towards Rollo, was a gorgeous day. You have more sunshine, close to 50. Look at Kirksville, Springfield, up to Chicago, Quad Cities, still in the teens right now. Tomorrow, again, south of St. Louis, you're closer to 50. Metro area around 40. In the 30s north of town. Clouds will be thickening tomorrow. The rain doesn't arrive until we get into early Saturday. By the time it does, the milder air is pushing in. That means it's all rain for St. Louis and nothing wintry. We'll talk more about the timing over the weekend and why it's not a complete washout in a few minutes.
Developing tonight, hours ago, 2 people were shot just blocks away from Horseshoe Casino downtown.
Now, 5 on your side's Robert Townsend reports police are searching for suspects and trying to piece it all together.
Shortly before 6 Thursday night, an emergency call went out that 2 people had been shot here near this intersection of Collins and Cass, just north of downtown. St. Louis police got here and started immediately investigating. Officers found 2 men suffering from gunshot wounds. Investigators say both were conscious and breathing when they were at this scene. Right now, police say it's unclear exactly where the actual shooting happened. They put down several evidence markers in the street, walked the grounds with flashlights, and talked to people inside this nearby apartment building. Meantime, 4 blocks away, more police officers and officers with city's finest descended on this back parking lot at Horseshoe Casino. There we saw a man and a woman going in and out of a black Chevrolet Malibu. The car's rear window was shattered and a rear tire flattened. Police initially said the 2 men were shot outside the casino, but later changed that. Right now, investigators have not connected the dots between the 2 scenes. They also have not said anything about suspects or a motive for the double shooting. Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
And anyone with information about the shooting can call Crime Stoppers at 866-371-TIPS.
A missing Missouri man was found alive in the streets of Syria. Locals found Travis Timmerman walking barefoot in Damascus. He says he was held prisoner for months after crossing into the country without permission. Timmerman was released on Monday when Syrian rebels overthrew the country's government.
I was interviewed to see if I was a political actor, but then they cleared me, essentially, and then I was just held in prison. I wasn't beaten or anything like that.
U.S. officials are aware of the 29-year-old situation and are trying to get him home now. Missouri State Highway Patrol says Timmerman disappeared from Budapest in June.
Tonight, a massive international cyber scheme with ties to St. Louis lands on the FBI's radar. Federal agents say more than a dozen North Koreans are behind an elaborate plot that stole millions. The suspects allegedly work with thousands of others to steal American identities and land remote IT jobs. Once inside these companies, investigators say they gathered sensitive information for blackmail. The scheme then funneled $88 million back to North Korea through shell companies, with some of the money traced to a third-party laptop here in St. Louis.
This is just the tip of the iceberg. If your company has hired fully remote IT workers, more likely than not, you have hired or at least interviewed a North Korean national work in behalf of the North Korean government.
The FBI is offering a $5 million reward for information leading to the arrest of any of the 14 individuals. Tonight, a proven jail administrator is stepping in to help fix the troubled City Justice Center. The city is bringing in Doug Burris as a consultant following a successful run leading St. Louis County's jail through the pandemic. Under his watch, the county facility saw 0 deaths, a 70% drop in use of force, and reduced its population by more than 20%. The move comes as the CJC grapples with serious challenges, including riots and nearly 20 deaths since 2020. Experts say Burris's proven track record could be key to turning things around.
He has a long record of public service with both the federal court and the St. Louis County, where he was routinely recognized as an innovator and someone who was at the top of the field and forefront of making things happen in a positive way.
Burris tells 5 on Your Side his work should be done next month.
Today, a local couple is thanking Washington University's medical center or medical staff in a big way. Barbara and Andrew Taylor donated $50 million to their neurosurgery department. Andrew Taylor recently was treated by their doctors. The money will go towards helping the department recruit and keep doctors and to driving multiple areas of research. Icy weather causing dangerous road conditions. The sliding collision caught on camera. Surveillance shopping. What you're putting in your cart could be taking more out of your wallet.
It feels like an invasion of privacy.
Our I-Team looks into how AI is impacting what you buy.
The European AI model says it's going to rain Saturday, and so do all the traditional models. Hey, it's not all bad news for the weekend, though. I'll show you why we don't have a complete washout weekend.
A terrible crash in Michigan caught on camera. A passing truck slid into a fire truck, then flipped over and kept sliding down the road. The fire truck hit several other cars, including a police cruiser. None of the firefighters near the truck were hurt, and the driver was taken to the hospital with minor injuries.
Right now, crews are investigating the cause of a destructive warehouse fire in Jennings. This happened early this morning in an abandoned manufacturing building on Zograf Avenue. Part of the roof collapsed while firefighters were battling the fire. Nobody was hurt. The North County Fire Chief says this building has seen its fair share of issues.
This building's unsafe for anybody to be in. We do know that some of the homeless people have been living in here. We were called out here on Sunday about 8 o'clock in the morning for a small fire in this building. This building's owned by the city of Jennings, so we know what the problems are here.
There was another large fire at this warehouse back in 2021. The manufacturer was charged just months ago with leaving hazardous materials there. Tonight, what you need to know about a hidden threat to your wallet: artificially intelligent pricing.
Federal investigators are cracking down on companies using your personal data to charge you different prices than other shoppers. Investigative reporter Paula Fasan takes your concerns to the Federal Trade Commission's chief technologist to learn how they're fighting back against this high-tech price manipulation.
Most people don't realize how much of their personal information is collected when they shop online or even in stores. And now, with artificial intelligence, that data may be used against them in a practice called surveillance pricing.
Have you ever heard of this?
I just heard of it just now.
How do you feel that different people are charged different prices for the same thing?
It's kind of crazy, honestly.
We spoke with people at a Brentwood shopping center to see how they feel about this high-tech pricing strategy.
It feels like an invasion of privacy.
It kind of makes me think a bit of Big Brother.
But it's happening online, and now a federal investigation is underway into surveillance pricing. It's a controversial practice where AI and personal data, like browsing habits, location, even gender, determine how much you pay.
There's really a risk here.
For answers, we went straight to Stephanie Wynn, Chief Technologist at the Federal Trade Commission. She's part of a team probing into how companies might use AI to assign personalized prices. Right now, the government is collecting information from major companies, including MasterCard, McKinsey, and JP Morgan, looking into how consumer data impacts their pricing algorithms. A MasterCard spokesperson told us they're cooperating, saying we do not provide surveillance pricing services.
We're seeing a lot of software vendors or consultancies who are starting to offer to help companies implement that data-driven pricing.
Unlike dynamic pricing, which adjusts prices based on supply and demand, surveillance pricing could mean you pay more than someone else for the same product.
And we want to make sure that surveillance pricing isn't resulting in harm to certain communities or to certain individuals.
Researchers have been sounding the alarm for years. In 2015, a ProPublica study revealed that a test prep company charged higher prices to Asian Americans based on zip codes. Now, AI could make pricing discrimination even harder to detect.
We don't want people to be charged based on their race or their gender.
Shoppers we spoke with call it a hidden threat and a clear sign of technology crossing the line.
We should have more information in general to understand how to prevent it.
So what can you do? Experts suggest reviewing your app permissions, but let's face it, most of us don't have time to dig through the fine print. That's why the FTC is stepping in. Their investigation is still ongoing with no clear timeline, but they're vowing to hold companies accountable. For the I-Team, Paula Bassan, 5 on your side.
If you have a tip for Paula, leave a voice message at 314-444-5231. You can also email her directly, paula@ksdk.com.
Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell rejoins us now with that weather impact forecast, and we're going to get some rain over the weekend, right, Scott?
We're going to get some rain over the weekend, but it also warms considerably going into the weekend. You know, we're still cold. Today, it was kind of feast or famine. If you were south of St. Louis, you were in the 50s in some cases. It was gorgeous. Metro area, though, those clouds held on for a long time in the 30s. Still cold in the 20s now around the metro area tonight, but it's all lit up over at the Missouri Botanical Garden. Look to our north. It's 15 in Pittsfield, 19 Alton, 20 over in Effingham. Metro area temperatures, we're definitely in the cold air, low 20s to mid 20s. Scott Air Force Base at 25. Farmington, you were around 50. Now you're down to 30, 42 in Centerville. We have this boundary. It's kind of sagged over our southern counties. It's not in any big hurry to push back to the north, right? So tomorrow is another chilly day, but not to the extreme that you see farther to the north of St. Louis. Northern Missouri along the Iowa border, they may end up tomorrow night with a little bit of icing. But not for us. It's going to all be rain eventually. We're watching that front kind of stalled out, waiting for the energy here to come in. It's worked onshore into California, starting to kick up some snow here into portions of Nevada into Utah. That is going to spread on to the east. So what is our impact here? As we go into Saturday, the rain arrives most likely right around daybreak, and it's an all-day thing. From about 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., high chances for rain. But late in the afternoon, the chances do start to become more scattered. If you're going to be out and about this weekend, just remember you're going to have to use a little extra caution on the roads as they will be wet. Here it is. All day Friday, we're dry. Friday evening, going out, no problems, we're dry. Except right along the Missouri-Iowa border here through the overnight hours. Then that shifts to the north. That's our wintry problems. For the St. Louis area, most of Missouri and Illinois, it is just rain. And the bulk of it comes through during the day on Saturday. So by Saturday evening, maybe a few lingering showers. We get into Sunday, and it becomes variably cloudy. Your hour-by-hour forecast for planning on Saturday, maybe you're out running around doing some shopping. It is cold in the morning. We're in the upper 30s, right around 40 degrees. Again, a cold rain. The winds start getting gusty during the afternoon, too. Kind of yucky. Temperatures, though, do get back close to 50 degrees, and it'll get even warmer as we go into Sunday. It's 23 right now at Lambert. Feels like it's 12 with that northeast breeze at 10. 36 was the high. We're pretty close to this morning's low of 22. Temperatures should drop another 2 or 3 degrees. Clouds will start to increase late tonight, and then they'll continue to thicken through the day tomorrow. Around 40, give or take a couple of degrees in the metro area tomorrow, closer to 50 to the south, in the 30s to the north. Then temperatures warm as the clouds thicken, and as the rain arrives, we are clearly above freezing on Friday. Make that Saturday morning and through the day on Saturday. Sunday is your pick day of the weekend in the mid-50s for highs. And then it's breezy with some more showers, maybe even a thunderstorm on Monday. But how about low 60s for highs before we start cooling off for the middle of next week?
All right, as we get closer to Christmas. All right, Scott, thanks. Frank is here with sports.
SLU basketball lost a big-name player. The Blues are trying to stay hot. And you are going to hear an incredibly courageous soundbite from an 18-year-old hockey player. Stick around, please.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
So this could have been a trap game for the Note. They're coming off a wonderful road trip, and they hosted a Sharks team with just 10 wins in 30 games. And just 1:20 into the game, Sharks are pounding away. Jordan Binnington falls, and Tyler Toffoli will get the goal. Blues were down 3-1 in the third. Matthew Kessel with a rocket, and Braden Shen will pounce on the rebound, and we have a 3-2 game. Now the Blues are down 4-2, and Jordan Kyrou gets into the slot and gets his 11th goal of the season right there. It's a one-goal game again. However, the Blues could not tie it. The Sharks escape with a 4-3 win. So tonight was Hockey Fight Cancer Night, and one of the headliners was a guy we've been telling you about, Cameron Samples. He's a senior hockey player at Lindbergh High School. He's dealt with cancer since the summer, and he's winning. It's in remission. He dropped the ceremonial first puck. He got the fist bump, the roster, including his hero, Jordan Binnington. Just love this young man.
I mean, it meant everything. Just to see everyone come together, and not just for me, but for everyone who's been affected by this horrible disease. It's amazing.
And I noticed you did fist bump with Jordan Binnington, your all-time hero. What was that like?
It was surreal. I'm just happy he came over. I thought he was going to stay by the crease, but it was nice to see him come over and give a fist bump.
But what's your message to young people that get hit with a diagnosis like you got hit?
Mm-hmm. Never give up and don't quit. That's the one thing you can't do, is don't give up and don't lose hope. Because anyone who's out there, you're going to beat this thing, and your life is going to be back to normal. You just got to keep on believing.
Cameron is my favorite athlete. Larry Hughes is one of the best basketball players to ever come from St. Louis. A McDonald's All-American at CBC, the National Freshman of the Year at SLU, the 8th pick in the draft who enjoyed a productive 14-year career. That's what makes this next story delicate. So everybody was pulling for his son, Larry II, to have a great career at SLU. Well, he has just left the program. The 6'4" junior guard had averaged 14 minutes and 4 points per game this season. He is a wonderful young man, and he can really shoot the basketball well. We wish him well. A night of celebration at St. Joseph's Academy in Frontenac. It's the 50th anniversary of St. Joe's first state title team. So this evening, they brought back all the players from the 65 state championship teams. There's the great Kristen Focal, who won 8 state titles herself. And they also named the court, Court 44, after their legendary coach and former player, Julie Gessling Matheny.
That is just amazing. I think it's funny. I love it. I'm thrilled they recognized my number. I wasn't really even sure what it was, but I guess Court 44 is what we're going with.
It means a lot. I think as someone who tried really hard to be good at what she was doing, it's nice to know people haven't forgotten.
And finally tonight, happy B-Day to the greatest St. Louis Hawk of them all. Bob Pettit turned 92 today. He retired as the NBA's all-time leading scorer and is still the author of the greatest clinching performance in NBA history, 50 points versus the Celtics in 1958 in Game 6. We interviewed Bob about 2 years ago on a Zoom, and some people struggle with technology, including myself. And he was having the most difficult time on this Zoom, and he was mad. You know, he's a great guy. And I said, Bob, what was easier, playing against Bill Russell or doing this Zoom? Because playing against Russell was a lot easier than this Zoom.
I was lucky enough, I got to interview him in the 80s, and wow. He was working at a bank in New Orleans. We went down and did a Glory Days series of some of the greatest players in St. Louis history. He was so thoughtful. He had great memories of that basketball time.
And for our younger audience that never really got to see him play, just look at Karl Malone, and that was Bob Pettit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Frank, thanks.
Well, coming up, one suspect ends up on the naughty list after a police chase lands him in a precarious situation. One criminal's holiday hiding spot. It didn't go so well. And you still have time to give a child in foster care a gift for Christmas. It's all part of our Little Wishes campaign with the Foster and Adoptive Care Coalition. Right now, there are more than 1,000 wishes left. To grant a wish, visit ksdk.com/Little Wishes.
And right after this newscast, you can see some of the most memorable stories we've covered this year on the 5+ streaming app. It's free to download on your Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV.
Anheuser-Busch is getting into the holiday spirit. The company unveiled its special holiday Budweiser can and the 45th edition of its Holiday Stein. Both feature designs of the iconic Clydesdales. but only the cans have a QR code on them, offering customers a chance to win a VIP tour of the brewery.
Dana said he went in the chimney, one of them. How did you do that?
Well, this isn't your typical Christmas story. Massachusetts police had to rescue a not-so-jolly intruder who tried making like Santa Claus during a chase. The suspect thought he found the perfect escape route down a chimney. But unlike St. Nick, he got stuck halfway. Officer had to break through a brick wall just to free him, and now he's facing multiple charges, and we're guessing a permanent spot on the naughty list.
A bag of coal.
And there you have it, 5 on your side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+.
And be sure to start your day with Today in St. Louis starting at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.